Back. Hot Seat. One last segment on the pilot episode of the Hot Seat. You feeling good?
Look at my seat. It's still pretty comfortable, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, I've started to sweat.
It's a good room temperature.
Yeah, here at Captivating Ink Studios, we like to keep things at a cool 72 degrees. So, yeah. And I am, sipping on the TX whiskey. This show is brought to you by TX whiskey.
Sponsor already on the pilot.
Already on the pilot.
That's not bad.
And actually, let's before we get to push bear release the PBR. I didn't plan that. We
Looking for a second sponsor already. PBR.
We may go have a PBR at the true sponsor of MPX, which is Biggs, which is right outside the window.
Very nearby.
Very
weird how that works.
Yeah, we might go visit that at some point in time. You can visit that after every Metroplex Wrestling show. Will most likely be there. Certain nights will definitely be there. They're pretty much every Saturday night.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Let's not lie. Let's not.
It is somewhere I frequent on Saturdays after the show. Yes.
I even ran into him. I ran into him on St. Patrick's Day. I was out there with another buddy, and then here comes the MPX crew just rolling right through. So Biggs is the place to be here in Bedford, because that's where Captivating Ink Studios is, out in Bedford, Texas. But we have one last segment, which is a game, and it's Push, Bury, Release. It is like F, Marry, Kill for all those out there who are familiar with that game. I used to play a game on The Boys, which is called Hang, Hate, and Hit, which who would you like to hang with, who do you hate, and who would you like to punch in the face? That was a pretty good one. But this is more wrestling themed, so I was like, Push, Bury, Release. Who would you like to push to the top of the mountain? Who would you like to go, no, I'll keep you, but you're going to suck for a while? And who you're going to go, bye-bye to? And these are going to be two sets of three wrestlers, one female set, one male set, of the free agents that are out that aren't necessarily signed to a big company, and I was struggling on who to pick, actually, because I actually wanted to pick the three Johns, and John Morrison, Johnny Gargano, and I forgot the other John. There was another John.
There's a lot of Johns.
There's John, but there was three that were
not John Cena.
No. This guy is
not a free agent.
No, not a free agent. But there was three Johns. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do those. I was like, no, I have three that actually will be more fun, because these guys have nowhere to go. Because at least John Morrison's like doing like AAA and stuff like that. He's doing.
Already got another new name.
Yeah, he's got like 3 new names.
Because he needs more names.
Johnny.
He already had 37 names. Now he's got another one at least.
Johnny, new name. These guys don't need a new name. One guy actually has a new name. Another guy put a patent for a new name that's kind of the same name. And no one will ever call the third guy a new name, because this is just who this man is. We're talking Ceasaro, which took all the vowels out of his name and decided to, well, except for the O. So he became a gent band, apparently. That's basically what he became. Ceasaro, the gent band. Wyndham Rotunda, formerly Bray Wyatt, formerly Husky Harris, which I guarantee he hates every time anyone ever says the word Husky Harris. Double H, Husky Harris. And Samoa Joe, who, now that Ring of Honor is back, just saying. But Ceasaro, Wyndham Rotunda, Samoa Joe. Tyler, who are you pushing? Who are you burying? And who are you releasing out into the wild?
Well, I mean, those are three very talented, very unique competitors.
I thought so, yeah.
It's tough to make a decision like that, but, say I'm the head of my own company, I have these three guys at my disposal, do whatever I want with them. I can control my narrative.
Yes.
I can do what I want with these guys, tell them not to do super kicks or whatever. Nope. But with that list, I mean, to push, I have to say, just because I feel like there's so much there that is untapped, that should have been done, that hasn't been done, and really you can say this about all three of them.
Yeah.
But I would have to put Wyndham Rotunda there, just because I feel like he's such a unique personality. Like, you saw the range of things that he could do between the Fiend, between the Wyatt family. Even go back to Husky Harris, doing that kind of stuff. Some of the stuff he did in NXT. Then, like, I just feel like there was so much that was just left on the table with that Fiend run, which is something apparently he created. Yeah. And they were letting him run with, and I'm sure they just finally hit a point where, like, wait a minute, this isn't our thing. What are you doing? This is too successful. Stop that.
You can't do this, pal.
But yeah, I mean, Wyndham Rotunda, I think he's one of those guys that I think whatever you give him, he's going to make his own, and he's going to find a way to make it something that, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Captivates you. Like it? You like it? Yeah.
I'm going to put like a graphic right there every time someone says the word captivating.
Something that he can bring you something that's going to captivate you. It's going to hold your interest. It's going to make you want to just keep watching to see what it is he's going to do. I mean, in ring, he's a talented guy. Yeah. He can go. But of the three on the list, I mean, I would put the other two above him in ring. But I just feel like there's so much you can do with him that he's got to be the guy that, like, I would say that you could build a promotion around him.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, let's see, that was my push.
That's your push. You're going to bury. You're going to release. Those are tough ones.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why I love the game. It makes you think.
I guess what I would have to do here, I would have to release Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Just because I think that, I mean, his recent injury history tells me that maybe he's gonna become a risk to himself almost.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as one of those guys that if he's in the ring is going to tone himself down.
No, not gonna change his style.
Like, I feel like he's just gonna go full force, full out, 100% no matter what. And I think he might be at an age and at a point where that is just going to be detrimental to him and his future.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big reason he was put in the commentary role on Raw.
Kind of the Taz situation, I think, with that.
Like Taz, that was a no-brainer. I mean, your necks, you take a more bad bump, you might be screwed.
Yeah.
Joe, I think it's more... Like, I believe he's had some concussion issues, and I think there was something else in there too, which we've seen with guys like Bryan Danielson. I mean, you can get back.
You just gotta stop for a bit.
Yeah, with Samoa Joe, I just don't know what's still left. Like, I would love to see Samoa Joe in AEW or Ring of Honor, or Impact again. I mean, he could do some great things with some opponents we've never seen him in the ring with. I just don't know that right now, or going forward, that it's the best. Like, I don't know we're going to see the best Samoa Joe now, and I don't know it's going to be the best for him.
We're going to see a Samoa Joe, but we're not going to see the best. Okay.
So that leaves me with, like, I guess I'm burying Ceasaro. I mean, which has pretty much been the last decade of his career anyway, so nothing changes. So.
Status quo for Ceasaro. And you have anything more to say on Ceasaro? Because that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start on Ceasaro.
I mean, Ceasaro, he's one of those guys that you see him in the ring, and you just don't understand why he wasn't more than he was. And he's one of those people that you can see the case studies one after another, but he's a big one that it felt like every time he was right there, and then when it was time to pull that trigger, they got cold feet or something. They're like, no, hold on, we're going to put you back in the tag team again. Your tag title run, he was the 927-time tag team champion.
He's got that. He got that division unlocked.
Just a year ago, they just popped him back up with Roman Reigns and title feud, and it made sense. Everybody believed it. It's like, hey, this guy can beat Roman Reigns, maybe. And he didn't, and what happened right after that? Back down where you belong. So, we're going to team you with Mustafa Ali or the other Mansoor.
Yeah.
You're in a tag team with Mansoor. But I wonder why he didn't renew his contract when it came up.
So I'm agreeing with what you say. I'm not going to say what you said, but I'm agreeing with what you said. You made some really good points there, Tyler. I appreciate that.
I usually do. So you'll come to learn that.
I am going to absolutely push Ceasaro because I am I'm one of those people that doesn't like the what if. So my biggest what if in wrestling of all time is Sean O'Hare.
Okay.
Because I believe he's another guy that probably could have been something if the right rocket was strapped to him. They just never really got to that point. They kind of did stuff and they didn't do stuff, and they did this like weird, like, you know, the whatchamacallit gimmick, the devil's advocate gimmick, and then they get rid of that. So
not telling you anything you don't already know.
Right, and so I think Ceasaro is right in there with that same kind of bit there. They had him with Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't that work? That should have been a no-brainer. You put a guy who might have a difficulty connecting, talking, with somebody who absolutely can talk, and the dude can work like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So that should have been a match made in heaven, but
it was one of those times that he built up momentum. He won the first Andre the Giant Battle Royal WrestleMania 30. He comes out of that, and they put him with Paul Heyman. He had been teaming with Swagger, the Real Americans.
Yeah.
He gets out of that. They put him with Heyman. So you're thinking, well, just won this Battle Royal. Does his little feat of strength with the Big Show, eliminating him to win it. Puts him with Paul Heyman. So obviously this guy...
rocket strapped to the moon, right?
Way up. And then, 2 months later... There you go. Bro, you might get an Intercontinental title shot on Raw. You won't win it, but you'll have a good little 10-minute match. We'll clap and say good job. So you'll go home.
That's why I push him, because I think out of the three, he's the only one that didn't get the rocket at least strapped to him in whatever company he was in. Because even Samoa Joe in Impact, Ring of Honor, he was the guy. Oh, yeah. But Ceasaro never got a chance to be the guy. Even Bray Wyatt at one point was the guy for a second.
He had a little nugget of being the guy.
He had a sneeze of the guy.
I mean, and then Goldberg came in and because Goldberg needed a title run.
Because he's the man. So next I'm gonna bury Samoa Joe, because I just want to see Samoa Joe working. So I don't care what he's doing. And so I think Ring of Honor would actually be a really good place for him to be a put over guy, and then to be a guy who is an authority figure. He's really good in that role of being like the tough guy that's in charge, that you can't kick his ass. So what he says kind of has to go.
I liked him in that kind of enforcer for Regal role on NXT.
I think it was great
there for a bit.
I think it was fantastic.
That he is that, like, because you look at all the authority figure characters, and it's always somebody you can push around and bully.
Yeah.
But say,
or some fringe wrestler like Adam Pearce.
Right.
Yeah.
That as far as WWE is concerned, Adam Pearce is just some guy in a suit. Like, they don't even really recognize the fact that he was former NWA World Champion and everything else he did. He's just he's some guy that can get thrown around, pushed around, whatever. Right. You know, Samoa Joe, either as an authority figure or like he was with Regal, like his enforcer or assistant. I mean, you have your authority figure out here making this match. You have to do this, and they're like, can't tell me what to do, Samoa Joe. Nope. Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you buy that, you believe it, you understand, and we can do it without the let's rough up the guy in the suit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm full on with that. And then finally, I'm going to release Wyndham Rotunda. I'm going to release Bray Wyatt. And not because I don't believe in Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt in wrestling. Of all the guys that we've just talked about, he's got a future outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
He's got ideas and such a creative mind where I think professional wrestling kind of hamstrings him. And
well, I think where he was did. I think he could do it better somewhere else.
There's parts of me that agrees with you with that, but there's parts of me that goes, you know what? No, I think all professional wrestling, as we know it, doesn't allow him to do everything I think he wants to do. I think there's lines and places that, depending on where you're at, like if you're down in the South and you're doing independent wrestling, you're not going to be able to do some stuff. If you're in, like, there's places where you can't do certain things. There's organizations that aren't, like AEW. Bray Wyatt goes to AEW, they don't go full in on the spooky. So that kind of takes away his thing. He'd be Abaddon. Abaddon isn't used to her full extent because they don't go full in on the spooky.
Right.
You go to Impact. That's not going to give you the platform that Wyndham Rotunda needs, right?
Impact, I feel like Impact they'd go all in with it.
They go all in.
It's just, would it be fulfilling to him? I don't know. I mean, you saw, like, say what you will, Impact is the reason that the Matt Hardy Broken Universe got over the way that it did, because they gave him the platform and said, you got this idea? Let's see it. Run with it. And they put it, like, at the top. It was their top thing.
That was older Impact, though. I think they've actually changed a little bit. I think they've become more, almost more constrictive in what they do after expanding to that. Because now you watch an Impact show and it actually seems like you're watching another wrestling show than what you got in that little time span of Matt Hardy being in the Broken Universe. Like, that seems like a lifetime ago, a whole different sort of Impact.
Well, of course, with that, he was operating in a different universe outside of. It was like control your narrative, fights and matches. You had this going on over here, and then this going on over here. You know.
All right, that was good. That's a fun little first round of push barrier release.